Can a simple puff of nicotine truly make you happier? Or is nicotine the secret to happiness, or just a dangerous illusion? For centuries, humanity has been fascinated by substances that promise to lift our spirits, to chase away the blues, and to unlock a deeper sense of contentment. From ancient herbs to modern pharmaceuticals, the quest for mood enhancement is deeply ingrained in our nature. But what about nicotine, that seemingly innocuous compound found in tobacco and increasingly in vapes? It's often associated with a quick calm, a moment of focus, even a fleeting sense of pleasure. But is that all there is to it? In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on nicotine's relationship with happiness. We'll delve into the fascinating science behind its effects on the brain, dissect the persistent myths that surround it, and expose the often overlooked truths. Get ready to challenge your assumptions, because what you're about to discover might just change how you think about true happiness. So, what exactly is nicotine? At its core, nicotine is an alkaloid, a naturally occurring compound found primarily in the tobacco plant. But its true power lies in its ability to interact with our brains. When nicotine enters the bloodstream, it quickly makes its way to the brain, where it acts as a stimulant. It binds to specific receptors, primarily nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, triggering a cascade of neurochemical events. One of the most significant effects is the release of dopamine in the brain's reward pathways. Dopamine, often dubbed the feel-good neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in pleasure, motivation, and reward. When dopamine levels surge, we experience a temporary sense of well-being, alertness, and even a reduction in anxiety. This immediate, albeit fleeting, sense of calm or pleasure is precisely what draws many people to nicotine. Historically, the perception of smoking, and by extension nicotine, has been intertwined with notions of sophistication, relaxation, and even intellectual prowess. Think of the iconic images from old Hollywood films, suave detectives puffing on cigarettes as they ponder a case, or elegant women exuding an air of mystique with a cigarette holder in hand. For a long time, the act of smoking was culturally associated with moments of contemplation, social bonding, and stress relief. This pervasive cultural narrative often overshadowed the growing understanding of its true physiological effects and the dangers of addiction. Our goal today is not to moralize or preach, but to uncover what science truly says about the connection between nicotine and happiness. We're going beyond the smoke and mirrors, beyond the cultural glamour, to understand the raw, unvarnished truth. The scientific perspective, a fleeting illusion. Let's dive into the core of the matter. What does the scientific community have to say about nicotine and happiness? The research is clear and consistent. While nicotine can indeed provide a temporary mood boost, these effects are strikingly short-lived and come with significant long-term costs. The initial rush of dopamine, that immediate sense of pleasure or alertness, is real. It's why people report feeling calmer, more focused, or even happier after a cigarette or vape. But this is the crucial part. It's a temporary effect. The brain quickly adapts to these elevated dopamine levels, leading to a phenomenon known as tolerance. This means that over time, the same amount of nicotine produces less of an effect, compelling users to consume more to achieve the same desired feeling. This escalating consumption is a hallmark of addiction. Moreover, the feeling of happiness derived from nicotine is often not true happiness, but rather the temporary alleviation of withdrawal symptoms. When a regular nicotine user goes without nicotine for a period, they experience a range of uncomfortable symptoms: irritability, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, cravings, and a general feeling of dysphoria or unhappiness. When they consume nicotine again, these negative feelings subside, and they experience a sense of relief, which can be easily mistaken for an increase in happiness. In reality, they are simply returning to a baseline state, not achieving a higher level of well-being. Numerous studies have explored the relationship between nicotine use and overall happiness or life satisfaction. For instance, research published in journals like Addiction and Nicotine and Tobacco Research has consistently shown a negative correlation between smoking and happiness, particularly in young people. One study, examining adolescents, found that those who regularly used nicotine reported lower levels of life satisfaction and higher rates of depression and anxiety compared to their non-nicotine-using peers. This directly challenges the notion that nicotine is a pathway to happiness. The addictive cycle is a relentless trap. The initial pleasure rapidly gives way to a compulsive need to avoid the discomfort of withdrawal. This constant cycle of craving, use, and temporary relief actively undermines true happiness. It creates a dependence that dictates daily routines, consumes financial resources, and often leads to feelings of regret and a diminished sense of control over one's life. Instead of promoting genuine joy, nicotine creates a manufactured need that, when satisfied, merely brings the user back to a state of normalcy, only to restart the cycle again. Myths versus reality, peeling back the layers. Let's confront some of the most pervasive myths surrounding nicotine and happiness, and contrast them with the undeniable realities. Myth: nicotine provides lasting happiness and reduces stress. This is perhaps the most insidious myth, perpetuated by both personal anecdotes and cultural portrayals. The idea that a cigarette can be a stress reliever or a source of enduring joy is deeply ingrained for many. Reality: the happiness nicotine provides is temporary, superficial, and ultimately harmful. As we've discussed, the immediate relief felt by a nicotine user is primarily the alleviation of withdrawal symptoms. It's not true stress reduction, it's the cessation of stress induced by nicotine dependence itself. Think of it like this: if you were deliberately punching yourself in the arm and then stopped, the relief you feel isn't true happiness, it's just the absence of self-inflicted pain. Similarly, the calm that nicotine offers to an addicted individual is largely the absence of the anxiety and irritability caused by nicotine deprivation. Historical figures, while often quoted, rarely offer a complete picture. Take Sigmund Freud, for example. The father of psychoanalysis was a heavy cigar smoker, famously believing it enhanced his intellectual productivity and offered comfort. He even wrote to his fiancée, "Smoking is an indispensable part of my life, and I believe that it improves my work enormously." However, Freud also suffered greatly from oral cancer, undergoing numerous painful surgeries, and ultimately died from it. His personal anecdote, despite his brilliance, tragically highlights the health risks rather than any sustained happiness derived from his habit. His comfort was inextricably linked to his addiction. Another example is often drawn from artistic circles, where the image of the brooding writer or musician with a cigarette is common. These portrayals often conflate creative intensity or existential angst with the act of smoking, implying a connection that simply doesn't exist. The momentary break or ritual associated with smoking might feel like a productive pause, but it's not the nicotine itself fostering creativity or true contentment. It's the ritual, the brief mental break, often misattributed to the chemical. The core difference lies between momentary relief and true happiness. True happiness is a state of well-being, contentment, and joy that is sustainable and often grows from positive experiences, healthy relationships, personal growth, and a sense of purpose. It's not a chemical fix that requires continuous redosing to avoid discomfort. Nicotine offers a fleeting chemical illusion, but it robs you of the capacity for genuine, unadulterated happiness by creating a perpetual state of dependence and undermining your overall health and well-being. Famous personalities and cultural references, beyond the myth. It's fascinating how certain substances become intertwined with our cultural narratives, and nicotine is certainly no exception. Beyond Freud, many notable figures have been associated with smoking, and their habits often fuel the myth that nicotine can be a source of inspiration or solace. Consider Winston Churchill, the iconic British Prime Minister during World War II. He was rarely seen without a cigar, and his image became synonymous with leadership, resilience, and even wisdom. His quotes often touched upon the stress-relieving aspects of smoking, like "I only smoke when I'm working, and I'm always working." While his personal experiences might have led him to believe in its benefits, his heavy smoking undeniably contributed to his numerous health issues later in life. His anecdotes are powerful in their context but serve as personal habits, not medical endorsements or proof of sustained happiness. In the realm of popular culture, movies and music have often romanticized smoking. Think of the rebellious cool of James Dean with a cigarette dangling from his lips, or the introspective moments of characters in film noir shrouded in cigarette smoke. These portrayals create a powerful visual language that links smoking with certain desirable traits: independence, thoughtfulness, or an edgy allure. Songs, too, have touched upon smoking as a source of comfort or rebellion. These artistic interpretations are potent, shaping perceptions and sometimes even influencing behavior. However, it's crucial to remember that these are artistic expressions and personal anecdotes, not scientific endorsements of nicotine's ability to foster genuine happiness or mitigate stress in a healthy, sustainable way. They reflect a historical and cultural context where the dangers of nicotine were less understood or actively downplayed. They do not override the vast body of scientific evidence. The problem arises when these cultural portrayals are mistaken for scientific truth. The image of a calm, collected individual enjoying a cigarette might be compelling on screen, but the reality for most nicotine users is a cycle of dependence and the constant battle against withdrawal. Health risks and alternatives, the path to true happiness. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the undeniable health dangers of nicotine and smoking. While this video focuses on happiness, it would be irresponsible to ignore the catastrophic toll nicotine takes on physical health, which ultimately impacts mental well-being and the capacity for happiness. The list of diseases directly linked to nicotine and tobacco use is extensive and alarming. Cancer, lung cancer, throat cancer, mouth cancer, esophageal cancer, bladder cancer, and many more. The carcinogens in tobacco smoke are notoriously potent. Cardiovascular disease, increased risk of heart attack, stroke, high blood pressure, and peripheral artery disease. Nicotine constricts blood vessels and puts immense strain on the heart. Respiratory diseases, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, emphysema, chronic bronchitis. These conditions progressively destroy lung tissue, leading to severe breathing difficulties. Addiction. Nicotine is highly addictive, making it incredibly difficult to quit once dependence is established. This addiction creates a cycle of constant craving and use, undermining freedom and well-being. These aren't abstract risks, they are grim realities for millions worldwide. How can one truly be happy when constantly battling chronic illness, struggling to breathe, or facing a life-threatening diagnosis? The long-term health consequences of nicotine use unequivocally undermine any fleeting moments of perceived happiness. The good news is that there are myriad healthier, sustainable, and genuinely effective ways to boost happiness and manage stress, methods that don't come with a grim bill of health. Consider these powerful alternatives. Exercise. Physical activity releases endorphins, natural mood elevators, and reduces stress hormones. Regular exercise improves sleep, boosts self-esteem, and provides a sense of accomplishment. Whether it's a brisk walk, a dance class, or lifting weights, movement is a powerful antidote to sadness and anxiety. Meditation and mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness trains the brain to stay present, reduce rumination, and cultivate a sense of calm. Meditation can lower stress, improve emotional regulation, and foster a deeper connection to oneself and the world. Social connections. Humans are inherently social beings. Nurturing strong relationships with friends, family, and community provides a sense of belonging, support, and joy. Spending quality time with loved ones, engaging in shared activities, and offering support to others are profoundly impactful ways to boost happiness. Hobbies and creative pursuits. Engaging in activities you genuinely enjoy, whether it's painting, playing a musical instrument, gardening, cooking, or reading, provides a sense of purpose, flow, and accomplishment. These activities offer healthy outlets for self-expression and can be incredibly fulfilling. Healthy diet. Nourishing your body with whole, unprocessed foods impacts not only physical health but also mental well-being. A balanced diet provides the nutrients necessary for optimal brain function and mood regulation. Adequate sleep. Chronic sleep deprivation significantly impacts mood, concentration, and overall well-being. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night is fundamental for emotional resilience and happiness. Seeking professional help. If you're struggling with stress, anxiety, depression, or addiction, seeking support from a therapist or counselor is a sign of strength, not weakness. Mental health professionals can provide tools, strategies, and support to navigate challenges and build a foundation for lasting happiness. These are just a few examples, but the common thread is clear. True happiness stems from nurturing your mind, body, and spirit in holistic and sustainable ways. It's about building a life rich with positive experiences, healthy habits, and genuine connections, rather than relying on a chemical shortcut that ultimately extracts a devastating price. So, let's bring it all back together. We began by asking if a simple puff of nicotine could make you happier, or if it was just a dangerous illusion. After exploring the science, dissecting the myths, and confronting the realities, the answer is clear. Nicotine may seem to offer a quick mood boost, a fleeting moment of calm or focus, but it is ultimately a deceptive and harmful illusion. The initial high is quickly replaced by an addictive cycle that undermines your autonomy, drains your resources, and severely jeopardizes your long-term health. The so-called happiness it provides is largely the temporary relief from withdrawal symptoms, a state that keeps you chained to a harmful habit. This brings us to a crucial question for you to ponder. Is a temporary, chemically induced feeling of relief truly worth the lifelong health risks, the financial burden, and the constant cycle of addiction? We encourage you to think critically about this. Don't fall for the illusion. Instead, choose the path to genuine, sustainable happiness. Explore the myriad healthy ways to find joy, manage stress, and build a fulfilling life through exercise, meaningful connections, engaging hobbies, mindfulness, and professional support when needed. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced the illusion of happiness from nicotine? What are your go-to healthy ways to boost your mood and manage stress? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. If this video has sparked something in you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more content that challenges common perceptions, and share it with anyone who might benefit from this conversation. Remember, true happiness isn't found in a puff, it's built brick by brick, through conscious choices that prioritize your well-being. What choices will you make today for your happiness tomorrow?